It was the night of September 21st, 2012 in Melbourne, Australia. Jill Meagher, a 29-year-old Irish-born woman, had just finished a night out with colleagues at a local pub in the suburb of Brunswick. She lived nearby with her husband, Tom. Normally, she would take a taxi home, but that night, she decided to walk. It was after 1:30 a.m. when Jill was last seen alive. On the surface, nothing seemed unusual. She was dressed smartly for a night out, walking along Sydney Road, a busy street even in the early hours. But as she walked, she didn't realize she was being followed. Days later, police released chilling CCTV footage that would become central to the case. The grainy video shows Jill walking alone, phone in hand. A man approaches her, starts talking, and follows closely behind. That man was Adrian Bayley, a violent repeat offender with a long history of sexual assaults. For investigators and the public, watching the footage was like seeing a nightmare unfold in real time. Jill had no idea she was being stalked by one of the most dangerous predators in the city. When Jill didn't return home, her husband Tom immediately grew worried. He tried calling her phone repeatedly. By morning, he contacted police. Within hours, Jill's disappearance sparked massive concern. She was well-liked, had a strong social circle, and it was out of character for her to vanish without explanation. The community quickly rallied, plastering posters with Jill's photo across Melbourne. Thousands joined the search, hoping she had simply gotten lost or had an accident. But investigators were already considering darker possibilities. The CCTV footage released publicly became the turning point. The sight of Jill with Bayley led police directly to him. Under questioning, Bayley admitted he had approached Jill, but at first he denied harming her. Eventually, the truth came out. He had lured her into a side street, raped her, and strangled her to death. He then drove her body to a shallow grave in a rural area north of Melbourne. For Australia, the revelation was devastating. Jill had done everything right. She was close to home, walking a familiar street, surrounded by shops and lights. Yet she had been targeted by a predator hiding in plain sight. The murder of Jill Meagher was not just a crime. It became a national reckoning. How could someone like Bayley, with a history of violent sexual offenses, be free to walk the streets? And how could such horror happen in a safe, urban neighborhood, under the gaze of security cameras? Adrian Bayley was arrested and charged with Jill Meagher's rape and murder. His criminal history shocked the public. He was a repeat sex offender who had served time but was released despite multiple warnings. In April 2013, Bayley pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to life in prison, with a minimum of 35 years before parole, one of the harshest sentences ever handed down in Victoria at the time. For Jill's husband Tom, her family, and the community, justice was served, but it was bittersweet. Jill's life had been stolen in the most brutal way. Jill's murder shook Melbourne to its core. Tens of thousands of people marched in her memory, demanding tougher sentencing for repeat sex offenders and better protection for women. Her case sparked conversations not just in Australia, but worldwide about the safety of women in public spaces. If Jill could be targeted in a well-lit, populated area, it could happen to anyone. Jill Meagher wasn't just a victim. She was a talented, kind woman who had moved from Ireland to Australia to build a life with her husband. Friends describe her as witty, compassionate, and full of life. Her legacy became one of change, a reminder that systems must do better to protect women, and that predators must be held accountable before they can strike again. The CCTV footage, those last haunting moments of Jill walking down Sydney Road, remains etched in public memory. It's a chilling reminder of how quickly a normal night can turn into tragedy. Her case also forces society to confront uncomfortable truths. Why are violent offenders released when they pose ongoing danger? Why do women still face disproportionate risks simply walking home? And how can communities balance safety with freedom? The disappearance and murder of Jill Meagher was not just a crime. It was a turning point. It exposed the failures of a system meant to protect, and it ignited a movement demanding change. Though Jill's story ended in tragedy, her memory continues to inspire action against violence toward women. For Tom, her family, and the people of Melbourne, Jill is not forgotten. Her name has become a symbol, a reminder that behind every case is a real person, a stolen life, and a call to never let their story fade.